A very warm welcome to you all on this fine day. I'm pleased to welcome you to the second session of the Women in Product Summit 2024. The Women in Product Summit, hosted by the Product Leaders Forum in partnership with the Institute of Product Leadership, presents a dynamic platform where you can share your journey, exchange insights, and acquire wisdom from extraordinary leaders and feel inspired to collectively push boundaries. Our aim is to challenge conventional leadership norms, awaken your inner potential, and shape a future that resonates with your ambition. I'm Harleen, your host for today's session. The summit consists of 3 weeks of immersive online sessions, building up to the grand finale at the in-person conference on the 7th of April in Bangalore at the CMRIT in Whitefield. We will be hearing from an array of inspirational women from all walks of life during the upcoming online sessions, culminating with a one-of-a-kind experience at our in-person conference. We're here today for this session that is going to be delivered by the inspiring Miss Manasa Garemella, who is the co-founder of Kind Life, which is India's fastest growing platform for wellness, nutrition, and beauty on the topic of building for young India. Like I said, we will be conducting multiple virtual sessions over the course of the next 3 weeks. Our next session will be led by the remarkable Ms. Shreyasta Samar, who specializes in AI research at the SRH Berlin University of Applied Sciences. She will be talking about the importance of mental health in the today's digital era. The cherry on top, as I mentioned, is the grand finale of the in-person conference that will take place on the 7th of April in Bangalore. Our featured speakers, some of whom you can see on screen, we will be having a lot more of them joining us, are all inspirational women who will share actionable perspectives on careers, products, and current challenges. The day promises to be power packed and a unique experience that is designed to equip professionals with essential tools and knowledge for excellence in the professional landscape. You can find the link to the website for the conference in the chat window. Make sure to register soon to secure your spot at this exclusive conference. So that was a little bit about the summit and our mission. Before we start today's insightful session, I'd like to give you a quick introduction to the host of the summit, the Product Leaders Forum. The Product Leaders Forum is a volunteer powered non-profit organization crafted by practitioners for practitioners. With a global footprint encompassing chapters in Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, and the Silicon Valley, it's a movement that is dedicated to product leadership. The forum's mission is to cultivate a vital and distinctive platform for product leaders worldwide. Through fostering diverse viewpoints and fostering rich dialogue on product thinking, the forum aims to catalyze mindset shifts, unlock profound insights, and offer hands on learning opportunities to enhance skills. You can find out more about the Product Leaders Forum by scanning the QR code on the screen. The summit is being organized by the Product Leaders Forum in partnership with the Institute of Product Leadership. The Institute of Product Leadership is Asia's first business school providing accredited degree programs and certification courses in product management, product leadership, data science, design, strategy, and leadership. The institute has partnered with multiple universities. It was founded in 2012 with a singular mission of creating 10,000 product leaders in the country. Ever since, the organization has designed and delivered programs in collaboration with various institutes, universities, and corporates to the senior working professionals to help them make career transitions into product leadership. The Institute has also built and developed a community of over 3,700 plus successful alumni leading the product, data, and design teams across the world. We're also knowledge partners for 250 plus organizations worldwide. You can find out more about the Institute and the programs offered on our website. You can find the link for the same in the chat window. And for those of you who have joined us via LinkedIn, you can find the same link in the comments section. Today's session is on building for young India. Once our speaker for tonight presents her insights, we'll open up for questions. Please keep your questions ready. You can post them on Zoom in the Q&A section. This session is also being streamed live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So viewers on any of these channels, please feel free to post your questions in the comment section and we'll share them with this speaker. Here is some exciting news for all our attendees tonight. You have an opportunity to win a free digital course from the Institute of Product Leadership. The best asked question in tonight's session will get this reward. You can check the link in the chat to check out the array of digital learning courses offered by the Institute. The Institute offers these courses for every step of your career. Every course is built, curated, and designed by industry practitioners. Our speaker for tonight will be choosing the best asked question when the session towards the end of the session, and the winner will get to pick a course of their choice. So guys, don't miss out on this opportunity. Not only do you get to engage with our distinguished speaker, you also stand a chance to win a digital learning course. So make sure to post your questions in the Q&A section or in the comments section. Okay then, without further ado, let me kickstart today's session by introducing and welcoming our distinguished speaker, Ms. Manasa Garemella. Manasa is the co-founder of Kind Life, which is India's fastest growing platform for wellness, nutrition, and beauty. At Kind Life, Manasa handles everything consumer and community building. In addition to the platform, Kind Life is also developing first-party brands where she leads new product development. Before starting Kind Life, she managed key healthcare projects at Sharp Ventures. Prior to that role, Manasa led marketing for over 700,000 merchants at Shop Clues, a marketplace that brought the bazaars of India online, enabling online commerce for 400 million consumers from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. In her free time, Manasa also enjoys learning Carnatic music, lifting weights, and traveling. So happy to have you with us here this evening, Manasa. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much.
I'd also like to introduce and welcome our facilitator for today's session, Ms. Swati Sethura. Swati has a decade and a half of experience as a software developer in virtual and cloud technology. She's a strategic leader with a special focus on customer experience and usage. She's currently the senior staff software engineer at Spirent Communications. Pleased to have you with us this evening as well, Swati. I'm so glad to see you both. I hope you guys are having a good day so far.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, without further ado, I guess we can get started. The session is now both of yours.
Thanks, Harleen. Thanks for the introduction. And once again, welcome, Manasa. So I would like to kick off this session by asking the very first question. So let's start by understanding the customers, of Kind Life, the Gen Z consumers, if you will. How do you think they're different from the previous generation in terms of their behaviors, their preferences when it comes to consuming products?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm struggling a little bit here because just down with my throat's not in the best shape, hence the constant coughing. But thank you so much for having me, and Harleen, thank you for the kind introduction. I think when we talk about building for young India, it's also defining what young India is. There are 700 million late millennials, early Gen Z, young India. And I think they're very different because compared to previous generations, I think what has really changed is the fact that they're, number one, they're digitally native. They're born into the world of internet. It's not an add-on. It's not something that they've adapted. They've actually born into the digital world. And what that essentially does for them is also is actually change how they access everything, whether it is content, whether it is brands, whether it is technology, whether it is entertainment. And I think that's the biggest change that you see from previous generations. I think one of the biggest trends that you will also see is that their digital footprint in terms of how they perceive and how they are in the digital world is also very different. Social media is a great leveler. And what that means is that a 20-year-old sitting in Madurai has the same access to information technology, brands, heroes that they worship, the kind of sport they watch, the kind of music they listen to as a 20-year-old sitting in Manhattan, which was probably not the case, and brands as well, which was probably not the case 10, even 15 years ago. So that's number one, that's totally different. I think the other thing is that they are a very purpose-driven generation. They're both values as well as value-led. For them, it matters whether their values align with the brand that they follow, whether the values are extended to the heroes they hold high, whether it is to any of the artists that they follow or sportsman, celebrity, etc. So I think values is something that it's a very purpose-driven is a purpose-driven generation. And I think the third thing which really sets them apart is also a subset of the first part, where I feel like how they discover brands, and they have access to brands. I think that's very different from earlier time. I remember 10, 12 years ago when I was coming back from, I did my master's in Spain. And when I was coming back, Zara was what I would bring into India. But, that was something like, okay, now I'm coming back, I'm going to get Zara, but they have access, but they also look for what are the brands that are trending in Korea. I want the same beauty regime. Trending anywhere else, J beauty, I want the same things. I think in India specifically, what has also changed is a lot of amazing homegrown brands that young India resonates with and young India wants to associate with. These are brands that are, these are again aligned to the same purpose, but they are built for them. They're built for have the same level of value system that they do as the consumer does as well. And I think that has also really changed. There's a lot of pride in, okay, this is a brand that's made for me. This is a brand that's made keeping my skin tone in mind, keeping my needs in mind, keeping my lifestyle in mind, which has also really impacted their purchase behavior. So
yeah, I think the world is the world is truly flat. When you talk about value system, there's sustainability, climate change. Those are all the things that Gen Z is kind of looking at.
100%. I think these have become central to these have become central to how they're what is the kind of um, what is the kind of products that they are consuming as well. At Kind Life, we're clearly on the body, in the body, around the body. So beauty, personal care, nutrition, and wellness. And what we see is they want to know if my supplement is plant-based, is it truly plant-based? If my makeup is cruelty free or not, and then is this beauty product vegan or not? These are values that they have assigned and that matter to them, and then this get extended to how they purchase as well.
Right, absolutely, yeah. So just building on that, Manasa, can you tell us a little bit about, how the customer acquisition channels have evolved in today's age and how they're shaping the consumer landscape, especially, when it comes to Gen Z?
Yeah, I think one thing is very, very interesting is, when I started my career, I used to work at a media agency and I used to do hardcore offline TV planning, and digital was just a plus, plus, plus. It was a Facebook page that brands would have maximum, or a group that you would have. But I think digital and social media and digital acquisition channels have become key, both from a discovery as well as, through the funnel, right? If it is both awareness as well as pushing them down the funnel to make the purchase decision. So I think these are definitely changing who they're listening to, how are they seeing your brand, and this this also goes one step lower in terms of, okay, whose voice are they actually listening to? So if it is an influencer, is the influencer on the same platform where they're consuming content? And that could be anywhere in the I'm so sorry, please excuse me, where they are on the social media spectrum. So if I'm a gamer, I'm on a Discord, for example. Do I follow, is my influencer who's actually influencing me to make a purchase decision there as well? And these are the kind of people I'm going to follow. So I think digital channels and digital acquisition channels have become key. Social is one of them, but across the board from there, is something that has changed. That's a really big one. And the second one is, I really think content and community are two pillars that brands have to focus on, in terms of when they're building loyalty, and when they're building authenticity for their own brand, because these are not communities that have to be they're across the board, right? It could be a WhatsApp group, it could be a Facebook group, it could be in the spectrum of an online space, it could be anywhere. But I think that is also something that brands must understand, that when you are reaching out, where is the consumer actually? This is a consumer that spends over 10 hours on their mobile, compared to earlier generations. They're actually spending far more time and consuming a lot more of short form as content on certain platforms, and much longer on other platforms, right? So how do you then, as a brand, make sure that your content is relevant on this platform for them, because their attention span is this and that? So I think these are 3 to 4 key things to keep in mind.
Sure. Yeah, I think that sense of belonging, that community feeling is very important to them. Yeah, absolutely resonate with that. How has the consumption of products changed amongst young Indians, especially like you mentioned, they're a digitally native generation. So what do you see there?
So what we see as trends is, self-care has become central, and wellness and self-care doesn't mean just about beauty products. It's actually an inside-out health and wellness becoming the central, and self-care as a concept becoming central. And this has manifests in different ways, right? This manifests in a way where physical health is very important. And for that, am I working out? Am I eating the right thing? What is my meal plan looking like? Am I eating clean ingredients? What kind of workout am I doing? Am I sleeping right, etc.? It's physical. It is a lot of what am I putting on my body? The ingredients that they want to use, whether they're clean, there are no nasty toxins in it, etc. And third is, I think it's also about mental health, where you see a lot more of conversation about an inside-out approach of health that is happening. And wellness as a well-being, and wellness as a concept. And the biggest trend within that would also be that planet care and self-care can coexist. Sustainability and building out eco-conscious businesses and awareness is important. This is something that is a generation that is aware of the fact that what is the impact of what I'm going to be doing today, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what's the kind of world that we're living in. So these are key trends that we do see.
Sure. Yeah, I think Gen Z totally has their priorities right, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, it's fascinating to delve into how Gen Z consumers are discovering products. Can you share some insights on their, product discovery journey? What are some of the touch points they kind of rely on?
I think 4 to 5 primarily. Number one is the rise of an influencer who's a true influencer. And what I mean by that is it's not someone who has 1 million followers or 2 million followers only. It is, and this is something that we've seen very closely at Kind Life, where we work with a lot of nano and micro creators who are, or, key opinion leaders and key opinion consumers, right? They are people who are, have a very high circle of influence. So if I have to draw a parallel, if I need any advice, if I need any advice on workout, for example, on what should I eat, I would probably go to my coach in CrossFit and say, hey, listen, because you know me so well, and then everyone in the box kind of listens to him because his circle of influence is very high. These are people who understand the nature of what they're talking about. Their recommendations hold value. They don't mind being brutally honest about this product didn't work for me, this product worked for me. And I think that authenticity comes across, and that's what their community also swears by. So I would say that rise of the influencer in the true sense of the word influence. Second is, as I said, social media is one of the most important channels. It doesn't have to be, I think content has to be fast and relevant rather than perfect and scripted. I think people are looking for some sort of authenticity for, hey, listen, I relate to this brand because this brand talks like me, but it also stands for what it actually stands for at the back end. So I think that's something that is social media is important. We do see trends of people going offline, where, offline is, and I think after COVID, a lot of this had changed, right? Because COVID made you realize that what are the products I'm using? Is it like this ingredient, that ingredient, etc.? So what we've noticed is that offline will be will continue to grow because people still want to touch, feel, discover. I don't think there's a ruling out of that is happening. The fourth, I think from a channel of acquisition will have to be your own communities that you're building, and then how do you monetize that community? It could be in any form. It could be if you are monetizing it for what is the extra benefit I get as a consumer being a part of your community? What is it that and it could be monetary as well as non-monetary benefit that I'm going to get, but some sort of perks that I get, which will be which will make me also want to, because I think India is also value conscious. So it's the values, but it's also the value. And what is it that the community is giving me? And that's something that is important. So how do you monetize for a brand? Then how do you monetize your community? What is it that you're going to be doing for them, etc.? Primarily this, but I think one large theme that we've not spoken about, and I think it's of great relevance here as well, is how technology and AI is kind of putting all of these pieces together and building it all and kind of tying it all up to solve for ease, to solve for scale, to solve for personalization, etc.
Sounds great. Yeah, I think the 30-second reel generation, it's very hard to kind of keep their attention.
Yep.
Yeah. So, moving on to the next question, while building products for young India, I think it's very crucial to understand how and why products for Gen Z consumers, how they differ. What are some of the unique preferences or considerations, which are driving the product innovation for this demographic? And what are some of the challenges that you see, with this kind of innovation?
So I think I'll divide product into technology product and product products. So there's a little bit of that. I think what we are doing, and the question was about what are we doing as
Yeah,
a
like what are some of the preferences that you keep in mind while you're doing your innovation, and what are some of the challenges that you see?
Okay. So let me first talk about Kind Life is very curated. So let me talk about products as a physical product that you can buy, and then move to technology and product. I think for at Kind Life, we're very particular about the fact that we're highly curated. You cannot come while there are these categories that we're in, we're also 100% kind to you and the planet. No nasty ingredients. And what we've done at our end is to ensure that every single product that is on Kind Life has a toxin-free, no nasty ingredients. We vetted by, we've created our own proprietary score called Clean Score. And we look very closely to EWG, Environmental Working Group's hazardous scale. They have a hazardous scale of whether this ingredient on a scale of 1 to 10 is how hazardous is it to you and the planet. And anything that's high hazardous doesn't make the cut on Kind Life. So we're very particular that only products, so there are multi-level checks. There's the fact that it is a kind ingredient. We also, I think the baseline for to be on Kind Life is that it has to pass our kind code. So it has to be either plant-based, organic, toxin-free, eco-conscious, or cruelty-free. That's number one. Then it's ingredient. We also look at certifications. We also look at any third-party verifications, claims to verify, etc. And then obviously all of this is built out with our promise to be more, for planet care at the center and being eco-conscious. So that's, to answer your question, number one, we're very curated and we do multi-checks there to ensure that the products are safe. And the reason is also because that is how the consumer is buying. We're very particular, and we're very, our reason to exist is also to give as much transparency as possible to the customer. So we are very, if you come and buy on Kind Life, you know that it's kind to you and the planet. You don't have to worry about it. And that's something that is a key differentiator. And that's why the products that we look at also go through those checks. Number two is, I think I'm sorry, I'm losing my chain of thought. Could you just repeat the question once?
So basically, you said, on the product innovation side,
Product
you spoke
innovation, yeah.
about the product line side. Now, like talking
Yeah.
about your business innovation.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So I think the second thing from a product innovation point of view, what we see, especially for young India, and is I'm going to break this category wise because what we see in beauty as a category is that younger audiences have a wider skincare routine, have a wider beauty routine compared to earlier generations. So what you see is that instead of using, hey, I just washed my face and I walked out, or I just put a moisturizer and I walked out, it's going to be a cleanser, toner, moisturizer, sunscreen, etc., serum, etc. And that's different for that's different for what they have in the morning and what they have at night. And what it has essentially done is that it has given a lot more brands and a lot more products to get into the shelf space of a customer, which is great because for the consumer has a higher disposable income to be actually, and this is in the cohort of where we are, right, which is the affluent India. And what we've realized is that that's made a lot of that's very different from the previous generations, because that's not only sorry, as I was saying, we're looking, they health and wellness is so central to them. Wellness is so central that also is something that you see across other categories. So when they are looking for wellness product, when they're looking for health products, for example, there's a lot of, hey, listen, I'm taking care of my skin, but I also need collagen. I also need, because I have PCOS, I get acne. So what do I do? That I eat cleaner ingredients and cleaner supplements, but I also do skincare. So those are the kind of changes that are there from previous generation. And from an innovation point of view, what it does for products is, can I look at new formats? Can I look at new categories for brands? Can I look at adjacent categories? Ayurveda has been a part of our lives ever since, forever, for years and years. But what has really changed is that there has been product innovation in making them in a format that works for a different generation, right? So it's newer formats. Can I make it into a gummy? Can I make it into a can I make it into something that's easy to consume, etc. So I think product innovation is happening more from how do I reach out to the same audience, and they are buying better, so they're buying no nasty products and they're buying newer categories. So that's from a product perspective. Product technology, obviously, what we've seen, which is the biggest trend, is complete AI led, AI solving for everything, and at Kind Life, at least end to end, whether it is discovery or whether it is, and this is discovery of products, this is discovery of routines, this is discovery of information content. If you look at Kiki.ai, Kiki's our little birdie. Oh, okay, here she is. Yeah, she's with me all the time. But Kiki.ai is actually a proprietary AI tool that we've built out, where you can actually use it to discover products, discover creators. What is it that is plant-based really? Okay, if I want to buy plant-based, is this better? Is this not better? So solving for discoverability for creators, it solves for, I make my own personalized store, I make my own collections, I can share them. I can share them on WhatsApp, I can share them on my Instagram community, etc. We've also used AI in a great way, where we've actually just launched, and it's if you've not, then please check it out on the app. It's called the Skin Analyzer, where you can scan your face, and it doesn't just tell you, it just doesn't tell you that these are the 4 products, but it gives you a personalized feed. So from Kind Life, both in terms of information and content, as well as products, routines. Okay, if I'm playing Holi, but I have combination skin and I'm a 26-year-old with sitting somewhere, I should be seeing something that's truly personalized for me, rather than you who's sitting elsewhere and has a different skin goal, skin concern, etc. So we've used AI to solve for all of this, and that's been very, very exciting.
Fascinating. Yeah, so I'm going to give the Skin Analyzer a try.
Please
Yeah,
do.
so what are some of the challenges you see when it comes to these kind of innovations or uh,
I think one of challenges also how fast you can grow with the speed of how with
technology changes?
yes, exactly. I think that's one thing. And also, it's not really a challenge, but you also learn, get feedback, move fast. And a lot of things look really great when it's on an Excel sheet, or it's on a file, or your team's discussing. But only when you put it out do you really truly understand what is it that the consumer wants, what is it that the consumer doesn't want. And this is across the board, right? Because we also have brands, we're completely brand sourced, so it's not a that you're a seller who can come and sell. These are brands. So brand, for me, my stakeholders are brand creator as well as consumer. And a lot of times when you think that, okay, this is going to move, but did it take a little longer than you thought to be finessed? I think those are some challenges, because I feel like the world is also still trying to grow and adapt to that speed of technology, and businesses therefore are at the same place.
Sure, sure. Yeah, so we are kind of coming to the last question. How do you see, digital mediums or technology influencing their purchasing decision and their overall consumer behavior?
I think personalization is going to be key. um, Technology is going to be used in a way of solving for ease, solving for convenience, solving for so in fact, like if you go onto Kind Life, and if you've ever purchased on Kind Life, then or if you go and talk to her WhatsApp, Kiki is going to be pretty much going to answer everything that you need, and will, if you ask her, hey, listen, I'm going to Goa, what sunscreen should I get? Should I use mineral sunscreen? Should I use chemical sunscreen? She's going to do a great job at getting it all together, telling you these are the recommendation of products you should take because XYZ. So I think, and that's WhatsApp on my phone. I think that's something that is going to be very, very critical in terms of discovery as well as solving for ease. I would say that. And truly finding recommendations, and truly finding solutions, and I'm going to keep that as a larger word because I feel it's not a function of just products, but it's also a function of content or information of how truly is it valuable for me. I follow about 1,000, I don't know, 2,000 people on Instagram. I see like 5% on my feed. How much of it is really truly relevant for me? And how personalized could that be? As an example of a business trying to solve for that. So I think that's something that is going to be very critical, and how technology can be used to solve a lot of that, where barrier to entry is not as high.
Yeah, I think cutting through all the noise and reaching to your customers.
Yes, yes,
Sure.
yes.
Yeah, it was. I think it was very insightful, Manasa. I'm sure the audience has a lot of questions, so I'll hand it over to Harleen to kind of,
Thank you so much.
Questions from the thank you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Mansa. Thank you, Swati. We've received a couple of questions. We have Narendra asking, what was the major challenge in finding your product market fit?
I think we took 2 years while, one thing we were very clear of when we started was that because wellness and well-being is at the center, it is something that is impacted by all categories, and these three categories, on the body, in the body, and around the body. We knew that there was, if I want to buy just a brand, if I want to buy just clean beauty or just nutrition, there were platforms, but we realized that this is a way of life of how consumers are living now. For us, within this, what is it that is going to be something that is really going to work is something that we've only developed slash discovered over the years. We were always big in skincare. So we spent a lot of time doubling down on stuff that's working for us. We're the number one platform for kind K beauty. International beauty section is something that's becoming big for us. And what we've realized is that to get I'll take a step back. One is going to be about the categories within that we're going to be focusing on. And the second is also just acquisition channels. For us, social commerce is a really big channel. And that's something that has played out very, very well. So we've actually doubled down on a lot of that, a lot of the creator stuff that I was talking about, how key opinion consumers, etc. That's been the second. And I think one thing that we were, sorry, we might have been when we started, where we thought that, okay, very early on, we thought, okay, is it a very urban South Delhi, South Bombay, South Bangalore kind of a phenomenon to buy no nasty cleaner products? And I'm using cleaner as a larger what kind of products. But we realized that that's not true. India, almost 65-70% of our orders come from non-metros. And that is also testimony of the fact that after COVID, a lot of that changed, right? Gen Z also, they also moved back. People move back to their hometowns. And not everyone's come back to office. And even if they do, I think the larger thing was, I'm just looking for, as I said, because access is there to information, I'm just looking for products that are better, and I probably can't buy it offline. So I think awareness for better products just increased anyway. And because it is a purpose-led, value-driven consumer, it kind of shaped the way paved the way across.
Okay, thanks, Mansa. We have another question from Tushi Matthew, who's asked, since the cohort for Kind Life is the affluent India, have you been able to factor in customer dropped out due to them moving out of India? Considering most Gen Zs want to move out of India for work or education.
So, haven't seen that. I think it's 85% of our audience is under 34. What has also happened is that, 20 to 30, 34, 2021 to 30 is probably a larger cohort of where the consumer is. I don't think that they are Sorry, I was going to read the question. I think it's okay. I'm just saying. I don't think that them leaving India is as much of a concern because I think they want to come back and work. That's number one. Number two is I think the pride to buy products that are also homegrown is something that's become a lot larger. I think what has changed, Sushi, is the fact that ingredients have become very important. If you look at a brand like Goli in the US. Jennifer Lopez is in the ad saying ashwagandha, ashwagandha, right? So I think what has happened is that a lot of the ingredient focus has become central, and then the brands are built around that loyalty of brands. What is it that I want to buy? What is the brand that works for me, doesn't work for me? I think that's become larger. I don't think that the number of people moving out has severely impacted how Gen Z is. I think um, they're a very different generation because they're multi-identity. They're probably doing two jobs in India. They are already, they have a day job, then they have a night job, which is a passion, and they're also an influencer probably on the side. So they have, and this multi-identity is not only who they are, but it's also their social and consumption profile, social profile for sure. If you look at anyone under the age of 25, the chances of them having a Finsta is very high. So they have two profiles on Instagram. Now, these are things that is also telling of how they have an appetite for a lot more and how they have varied interests. Yeah.
Thank you, Mansa. We have Navam Singh who has asked, how do you manage the frequently changing trends of Gen Z as they're always ready to jump from one trend to another?
This is the most exciting part. This is really the most exciting part. I think they're willing to try. Risk appetite is definitely higher. So they're willing to try. And as I said that, when I was talking about the wider routines, for example, what we've noticed is that there are certain, if I have a 5-step routine and if I find one really great product, there'll be one or two products here and there that I'm willing to try and test. So I think the appetite for trying new comes as high, and that also means that if they really love your brand, they'll stick to it. But if your brand come and if there is something else that is in a different category that they haven't found it, they'll keep trying. So that's number one. Number two is I think for us, what really sets it, we're really on top of the trends. If y'all don't, I think if y'all don't follow us on Instagram, that's something that I'm going to strongly say. Just see us, see how we're pretty, we're on top of what is it that is happening in Korea, what's happening in Japan. We're always ahead as well. And I think one thing though is that self-care is actually starting a lot earlier. Anti-aging, when I, 10 years ago, anti-aging was a 40, you have to be in your 40s to start anti-aging. Today, anti-aging is like 20, right? At 20, people are starting anti-aging creams. So that is really changed. And that's is where it's exciting for brands as well, right?
Of course, okay. We have Vanisha who's asked us, who said, it was interesting to learn about the value versus value conscious customers. As an entrepreneur, can you share how you deal with this challenge in building a platform for young Indians?
Yeah, so we're very conscious of the fact that you have to get the best value on Kind Life. Uh, because there is an absence of a cross-category platform, what typically ends up happening is that you are like a brand and then you go on 5 different platforms, and wherever you get the best, you end up buying. For us, what has worked is that the consumer, the stickiness is higher because if I'm vegan, I know that I'm not only going to get vegan makeup, but I'm also getting vegan supplements. And we've seen consumers buying across categories. And that is something that has helped us drive a lot more value, not non-monetary value as well, but value for the customer, where the customer says, hey, listen, this is the best price, but I'm also getting for my values, I'm also getting product A, B, C, D. And then it's like, I'm just going to get this all together. So that's something that has actually worked very well for us. But we're also very mindful of the fact that for our set of brands, how do you get the best value? So we have really exciting, merchandising on the site all the time. How do I bundle it up? How do I make it easy for you to discover new brands, which they probably wouldn't find anywhere, or get the best value on those days?
That's great. Thanks, Mansa. We have Divya who's asked us, how does your Gen AI solution handle potential biases in its AI algorithms, particularly in context of skincare and beauty?
So it's obviously built out on a lot of, we're very mindful of the fact that, humans and machines are coexisting. That's very, very important. I think that problem is also solved in terms of curation. You'll never find a skin lightening cream on Kind Life, for example. So if you want to come and ask AI about skin lightening cream, it'll tell you this is what it'll do, but it'll never recommend products because we're conceptually against it. And I think there are checks like that that you can do. Sorry, I think the fact that there is, again, 10 years ago, foundation shade would mean 20 times lighter than what I am. Right now, brands are not making it like this. So a lot of that is solved actually with the products, not tech product, but products that are being built out, that, all our brands are I'm so sorry. All our brands are also inclusive. There's nothing that's, there's nothing that is, if it's not kind, and because it's in our ethos, if we know, even if something is a red flag, we're not gonna, that's not something that's going to even make the cut. Forget about it then getting layered with technology on it. And I think that's something that, and if there is a one-off thing, then obviously that is addressed differently. But these are some things, and I think a lot of that is done from the brands and in itself, in terms of the options that you're giving consumers now.
Okay, thanks, Mansa. We have another question from Madhura who's asked, can you share one or two product strategies that seemed risky at the start but ended up working out really well in the end?
I think a lot of our content, a lot of our, I'll tell you, not risky, but we really gamified a lot of things for customers. When sorry, we have a lot of, games night. We have every other quarter we have something called the Red Friday sale, and Black Friday was something that we thought is it too early in India at that time, but Black Friday does really well for us, and we have something called Red Friday, and every time there's a Red Friday sale, we have a games night, and that's something that's recurring. I think gamification is something that could be perceived risky earlier, saying that, okay, really, I don't know, is it worth it? How's it going to work, etc. That's worked really well for us. That's worked really well for us. It's also worked.
No, no, write it in our notes.
Hi. Okay.
Oh,
That's okay. That's okay. I was saying that, that's something that has worked very well for us. We've done a lot of really fun games with, either it's a brand or with a collab partnership with a creator, or we've done it and we've seen fabulous results. So that's one thing that I would say. Second is also we're constantly innovating. We're constantly innovating in terms of how do I make this interesting and exciting for you? And that has only and only truly come from the fact that we are making a brand that is not brown, green, boring. We were very, very particular that when we started Kind Life, that, what we saw around us was that anything to do with wellness or well-being or living better came with that caveat of, okay, if you're not 100% this, are you even doing justice to it? If you're not 100%, if you're not 100% vegan, what are you doing? If you're not 100%, and please, these are placeholder words, but there was a lot of judgment. And we said, okay, you know what? It doesn't really matter, because today, any step that you're taking, if it's better than the step that you were taking yesterday, it's great. Why shouldn't it be celebrated, right? And with that came all our choices that came in after that. And a lot of our exciting, fun stuff that we do. And I think that is also that's great about how Gen Z consumes content slash how they really like the unhinged. Unhinged is maybe pushing it, but a little bit on the lighter, funner side. And we don't think twice before incorporating that. We don't think twice before incorporating that everywhere. Whether it is even if you talk to Kiki.ai, she's gonna talk to you like it's a person, right? When you go on your personalized feed, for example, it's going to be completely written in a way that somebody's talking to you, because we were very clear that it has to be a safe space. Kiki is blue. Our logo, the birdie is blue in color because she's one from nature. She's a bird, but she's not, brown and green and all of that. She's got a character of her own. And that is something that we're very, very particular about. So I think innovation comes from your appetite to take the risks and the things that you said, right? The question was about, you thought it was too risky, but did it work? And there are things that didn't work. But okay, this didn't work, that didn't work. And the fact that you want to adapt and move fast, that's something that worked well for us.
That's great. Also, I think it's very important what you're saying about how Gen Z, considers the authentic aspect of brands to be the biggest aspect. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we have Narendra who's raised his hand. I'm going to let him. Hi, Narendra. I think you should be able to unmute yourself. Okay, I think let's wait for him to be able to do that. Um, until then, we have one question from our YouTube viewer who's asked, when brands leverage influencers, it becomes hard for the Gen Z consumer to trust them, right? So how should, as a brand, you go ahead with incorporating influencers in your strategies?
Yeah, I did see one more question here about for collabs. What's your say? Can you suggest a way to collaborate? I don't know if it's about influencers as well, but I'm just gonna I think the kind of influencers you pick and what are they going to say about your brand matters the most. The pardon my French, but the BS meter is very high, so people can see through something that's a hard sell rather than an authentic story. So I think what we do is that we also spend a lot of time. So let me explain it as a brand and let me explain it as Kind Life, because we're a platform, so things might be a little different. But for a brand, I think it is about who you're picking with. I would strongly suggest spending some time with the creator also to understand what works for their community and what is the storytelling that works for their community. And then build your brand ethos along with that, instead of it just being a one-way brief, or it, in fact, or the other way around, right? Where the creator tells you, no, but I don't want to do that, because you don't want your essence to get lost. So I think that's very important. For us, what works is that because we are a platform, typically we have creators who talk about products, and they talk about Kind Life and what they discovered on Kind Life, and it is agnostic to the brands that they actually end up pushing. So for us, there have been, as I said, there have been times where creators would be like, okay, this brand didn't work for me, and I think that also holds a lot of value, because their audience wants them to be that honest and authentic. And also, I think the biggest thing is that people are aware that if, okay, it is, some of this is subjective. You and I might have the same skin, we might have everything same, but just in case a product doesn't work for you and works for me, that the chances of that are also there. But what truly sets it apart is if the creator and the community are able to have that kind of a conversation, if they're able to have that authentic conversation where even if the creator says, hey, listen, this didn't work for me, there'll be their community saying, okay, but this did work for me, or the other way around. So for us, for you, if you are a brand owner, then pick creators who see value in your product, and you see value in their voice and how they are going to be positioning it and talking about it. Otherwise, and see, what do you want from the creator? if you are working with the really large creators, then your efficacy or ROI, how you're going to define ROI is going to be very different from if you're going to working with another set of creators, right? So if it is just awareness, did you get the spike that you wanted to see? Did you maybe it's not purchases? Is there any other metric that you can look at, etc.? So you'll have to define that for yourself based on who you're working with, and then obviously, as I said earlier, how are you going to be leveraging their power?
Okay, thanks, Mansa. We have Divya who's asked us, have you observed any commonalities in Gen Z behaviors across different geography trends?
It's such an interesting question. Commonalities. Sorry. Okay. I think I feel personally that humor is, I mean, and I'm gonna break it down into products and content, so it's easy. Actually, let's break it down into products, content, and creators, because that's an important channel as well. I think from a product perspective, we've seen commonalities in terms of one notch level in terms of how India's landscape is, right? From a geography to weather to skin type to, goals kind of a thing, whether it's a function of age, whether it is a function of where you're staying. So humid weather, for example, having similar, or 19-year-olds in a certain cohort having similar, etc. Let me give you an example. We've seen a lot of rise of sunscreen, for example, right? Sunscreen was not something that was so mainstream 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Just the awareness of sunscreen is insane. People are constantly trying new things. They're constantly coming onto the platform. It's a very, very big category for us, where they want to see, okay, what is the best sunscreen? Is it mineral? Is it this? Is it that? Etc. I would say that category awareness across different based on age slash geography. That's one thing that I see. Secondly, one of the biggest things, trends, commonality, definitely is how it is an inside out approach to beauty and wellness. That's another commonality that I see. Lifestyles are similar. The way that you're, sitting on your phone, not stepping out as much, or stepping out of first job and sitting and working as much, or PCOS or lifestyle, etc. Right? These are commonalities that you see, and then they want to take care of themselves like that. They want to take care, as I said, skin health, collagen, protein supplements. Am I getting enough protein or not? These are things that are that are being spoken about a lot earlier as well. So that is from a products perspective. Creators, I feel across the board, authentic or not. Key opinion leaders, are there someone I will continue to follow an A-list star, but I will also follow 20 other people and my friends, and look for authentic recommendations. I think that is very, very clear. Looking for recommendations from trust of me to you, to you, to you is much higher. Whether I am an influencer or not is, I mean, if I'm a creator or not is secondary, but that loop of trust being built across by asking multiple people. That's second. I think in terms of content, what we've noticed is humor. Having, I don't think humor and kind of not taking yourself, being honest and raw. That's something that and this isn't this is across the board. You look at even legacy brands right now, if they are very different from the category, they're on Twitter or on Instagram just creating content, but it will be about a meme about something that happened yesterday. And I think that I'm not going to take myself as seriously. I'm a brand, but at the same time, I think that really resonates. And that is another thing that we've seen common across, because this is something that, from a content generation perspective, at least, is where there's okay, this did work. Okay, we can joke about this, we can laugh about it, that kind of a thing. And sorry, I just wanted to answer one more because I really like the question. Gen Z behavior across geography trends. I think one thing I did talk about is, and which we have to be very, very mindful of, is about how they are interacting, how their lifestyle is similar in the sense of work, life, what's priority for them. As I said, multi-identity. sorry, have two jobs probably, one for day job, night job, passion, all of that. And I think that's a massive commonality. And that also influences, sorry, how they're buying products, because I might not need this for I'm going to work, but I need this because when I'm working at night, I'm looking for something healthy to munch on, for example, right? I'm just thinking out loud. So things like that. I'm so sorry. I'm like struggling.
Okay, you can take a little break, maybe
I'm
just
taking
get your breath.
taking warm water.
Okay. Okay, great. Until you do that, I'll shoot the next question, which we received on YouTube, which is Gen Z's attention span is so short. What can we do to ensure to capture their attention and interest in the shortest period of time?
I want to say that there is a playbook for this, but there isn't, because otherwise everyone would have understood it. I think I really wish there was, because either we would have been referring to it or not. I think it's a bunch of permutation and combination, to be honest. I'm really sorry. Um, in fact, if you look at data, there are platforms where they're spending a lot more time. And I think it's a factor of which platform you are on to reach out to them in the way that they want to be reached out to. What that means is that if they're watching a long form skincare content from a creator on YouTube, they look at it very differently. What they're probably doing while watching it is also very different, right? I'm sitting with my 3-step routine, 4-step routine, 5-step routine. I'm like understanding, learning all of that. So in that time, how are you going to position yourself to me versus if I'm on Snapchat or if I'm on Instagram as a reel, okay, I literally have 5 seconds and then I need to get you. But that also means that the kind of content that I'm creating cannot be a copy paste everywhere. So, maybe, and if you could, whoever the person who's left the comment is, if you can tell me a little bit about what the brand is, then we can, you can find the hook of, okay, listen, if I'm on Instagram and I'm creating short form content, or if that is where that's the only place I can be, what is it that, how do I get their attention? It could be, I'm going to jump in because there's another question about authentic reviews, etc. I think what has really worked is real content, is about people saying that this is how I've used the product. It's done really well. It's not the studio light settings vibe in terms of reviews. It doesn't have to be, this is a product that was great for me, but this, it doesn't have to be. It has to be just authentic, conversational, because it's not just the fact that the attention span is reduced. It is also that I feel almost 50% of our feeds look the same. And what that does is that one reel up, you'll hear the same song, you'll hear the same song, you'll hear the same song. And then by like number 5, you're like, dude, I'm done with this, Sorry. So, and you want to capitalize on the same song because you are like, okay, this is trending, I'm going to show up, but you don't want to be a blind spot. So then what is it that you are doing new completely? And that is really a permutation combination of what has worked with your audience. I really wish that there was a playbook and people could say that, okay, this 4 hacks of doing this 4 hacks of, please be mindful after 3 ads. And I see some of those ads myself and I'm like, okay, I know I can't skip, but I don't want to be here. So yeah.
So you're basically saying that the content should be curated for the platform in terms of the
Yes.
yeah. Okay, great. I think you answered Rachna's questions too
I
here.
just,
How do you
yeah, sorry.
okay, I'll just read it out. How do you ensure that there is authenticity of reviews and ratings published on your website, as this is another influencing factor to buy a product?
People are honest. People are as honest as it can get. I think there's no moral policing there that happens. But obviously, you're mindful when you know that it's the same set of words going for 5 different products. Something doesn't add up. I don't think there is any deep answer to that. But there is obviously. You can tell whether you can tell when because reviews are also something that we see very closely, but You can tell when the customer hasn't bought the product, or and this is across platforms. It doesn't have to be just Kind Life. If you go on an Amazon as well, you can tell that if 20 reviews are horrible and then there's just one person who's saying this is the best thing ever and it doesn't seems like a chat GPT kind of a review, then you have your way around. You can kind of figure it out. I think we ensure authenticity because um we can people are not they're honest. I don't know how else to say that, if something didn't work, it didn't work. But I think one thing that really makes it different for us is that we're brand sourced. And that also means that the products that are on Kind Life are completely authentic, which probably is a little different from what would happen on other platforms where, okay, listen, is it really is it really original product? Is it? We don't have any of those issues. In fact, we've just wrapped up we just did one reel very recently, for example, where we said, hey, listen, and that's something that we say that, okay, if you're buying this product, this is what the original looks like. So when you open the bottle, this is how it will look. And this is the number one K beauty product there is, Korean beauty product. And we noticed that that was something that people were asking, where they would be like, okay, listen, is this really authentic or not? So there are multiple ways, because we are 100% brand sourced. We also have authentications where brands say that, hey, listen, Kind Life is a partner, etc. So that that one level of doubt, I think, anyway goes away when that happens.
Okay, great. Narendra has raised his hand again. Let's hope he can unmute himself right now. Hi, Narendra.
Hi, can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hi, Manasa. It's so great to catch you here. Thank you for this session. And my main this thing was you were this is also was what I was thinking about 2 years ago. I also wanted to do something on the similar lines of Kind Life, and before I could take it forward, I saw this great product coming up. I really loved, and you and Vidit have done a great job. So I have used some products, and a lot of compliments. I people even today tell me that I don't look my age. So that's something, and I'm so thrilled to listen to you. And it was a great session, Manasa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me.
Well,
Thank you, Narendra. We have another question, that is, can you shed some light on the primary sources of inspiration for Gen Z consumers when they're seeking out new products?
I think number one is going to be primary sources of inspiration. Celebrities, definitely, and celebrities that are valid in their uh, entertainment of choice. I don't know how else to put it, like in their field of choice. What is it that celebrities are using? I think that's something that is there. Number one. Second is going to be social media. I think people are always trying and testing, as I said earlier, that they're constantly, because they want to try new, and then the appetite is a lot higher. They also know what, so if something just goes viral, it will go viral and then people want to try it. So sorry, I think that's something that is and I think that is probably the biggest thing, that if it is viral in the US or anywhere else, in Korea, for example, it will come to India because they want to know what it is. They want to know what it is. They want to know what the ingredient is, what the product is, what's the big deal about the brand. Can I find a dupe in India that is, or can I find a cheaper dupe that's available that I can try and say that, okay, while that is coming, can I wait for this? So I think these are two to three things that I'm sorry, can you just so that I don't miss anything? Is this
The question was, can you shed some light on the primary sources of inspiration for the consumers while seeking out new products?
Yeah, I think sorry, I think seeking out new products would be this. I think it's also that, as I said, because they are such a value purpose driven generation, that is something that they look for even when they are looking for their inspiration. I think an easy example so that everyone will get is Virat Kohli, right? Virat Kohli talking about health, fitness. He's living that life. He's living the life of it's not someone who's just coming and preaching and going away. But if I'm a cricket lover and I see every day in and out, I want to know what is he eating. And then if I say, okay, he's cut off on dairy because it impacted him, you would want to go, your eagerness is going to be high to understand what happened and why that is, right? So while they have their heroes, they're also seeing, and this hero could be in any form. It doesn't have to be an A-list celebrity. It could be anybody that they look up to. Um, how close they to the reality of, I mean, are they really living the life that they claim that they're living? And then what is it that they look for? What is it that what is the kind of lifestyle that they're living? Can I can I do something similar to that? Then where are they buying? What are they buying? Is it something that I can get at the same level? Is it that something that I can get a cheaper option for it, etc., etc.? So I think these become sorry, important discovery. I think it's a combination of the larger people that you hold as heroes, and second is if it is viral, um if it is viral in Korea, I can tell you for a fact that our community is going to ask for it in no time, because they're already talking about it, they've already read about it, they're already seeing their favorite K-pop star or K-drama person use it. That's probably happening. So what they'll do is they'll come to Guidelife and say, okay, listen, do you have this, because I really need to try it.
Of course, that makes sense. Okay, thank you, Mansa. I think we don't have any other questions as of now. So I think we can start to wrap up. Just give me a second. Let me share my screen again. Okay, great. I want to thank you both for being here. Thank you, Swati, for giving us your time and asking us these great questions. Thank you, Mansa, also for joining us and sharing your thoughtful insights and thought-provoking, thoughts. We've enjoyed having you with us. It has been a complete pleasure. Please accept the certificate of appreciation from the Product Leaders Forum and the Institute of Product Leadership. The QR code on the certificate will take you to a dedicated Hall of Fame page that has been created especially for you. And the recording of this session will be available there. The recording of this session will also be shared on our YouTube page. Thank you both for being here. Thank you, Mansa, for all your great insights. Before we wrap up, I need you to choose the best question asked at today's session so we can choose the winner. I think some of them are in chat and some of them are in the Q&A section, and I read some out from other platforms. So
Wow, this is like pressure, pressure, pressure.
Yeah, it's a tough job. There were so many great questions
I
today.
know. I think it'll be Divya's question.
okay,
Have
great.
any commonalities in Gen Z behaviors? Because it really got me thinking.
Okay, great. Congratulations, Divya. You've won the best asked question at today's session. Someone from our team will get in touch with you via email to discuss further details. So keep an eye out on your inbox. Congrats once again. Um, with that note, I'd like to thank our speakers for today, Swati and Mansa.
Much.
As I'd mentioned earlier, we have more online sessions that are upcoming, just like today's insightful and fruitful session. The next one is day after tomorrow, which is the 23rd, on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on the importance of mental health in the digital AI era. Make sure to register for the same. It will be enriching. As mentioned before, also, the most exciting part of this summit will be the in-person conference on 7th of April. Join us on the 7th to hear from these and many more inspirational women. You can find the information by clicking on the link in the chat. I want to finally thank our attendees for joining in and giving us your valuable time. And I'm sure you've had a great time at today's session. I'll wait here to let you go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen to leave any reviews, feedback, or queries. I'll wait here for a couple of seconds so you can go ahead and scan the QR code. We'd love to hear about your experience at today's session. So please do go ahead and share them by scanning the code. Okay. I think that is enough time to scan the QR codes. That brings us to a close for today. It's been a pleasure having you all here and hosting you. I look forward to hosting you again in the next session of the Women in Product Summit. On that note, I'll end today's session. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Helene. Thanks, Swati. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.